What's going on, Android fans? This is Clayton Youngberg representing AndroidAuthority.com, your #1 source for all things Android. Today we're bringing you a head-to-head comparison smackdown between the Verizon LG Intuition and the Samsung Galaxy S3. We're going to be comparing the hardware, software, and then the internals and specs of these two phones and tell you which one might be better for you. As always, we're going to let you decide, but we're going to run down some of the basics of each phone. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the Verizon variant Samsung Galaxy S3. I am rocking the international quad-core variant, but we're still going to treat this the same. Anyways, the most noticeable difference between both of these devices is, of course, their size. We're rocking an insanely large 5-inch display on the LG Intuition. As you can see, it is measured diagonally, but it's a fairly wide phone in the hand. It is extremely large, and it is just about dwarfing the Galaxy S3. Now, the Galaxy S3 does have a 4.8-inch display, which is very large by today's standards, and it still looks great. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and delve into the specs and software of these devices. Now, as a lot of people know, the international Galaxy S3 is rocking the Exynos quad-core CPU, clocked at 1.4 gigahertz. And the LG Intuition is running the Snapdragon S3 processor, which is a little bit behind the S4 that they're putting in the Samsung Galaxy S3s, but it's still clocked at 1.5 gigahertz, a lot of dual-core power, but it is powering a lot of pixels. Now, anyways, side by side, you can see that the colors on each device are great. The brightness is great on each device. And then we are rocking different flavors of Android. We are rocking the Android 4.0 on each device. We've got 4.0.4 on each device. The Galaxy S3 is slated to get Jelly Bean soon, while the LG Intuition is still up in the air whether or not they're going to follow through with some Jelly Bean. But I'd almost assume that they have to in order to thrive in this market. Now, anyways, both have very fluid response. The Galaxy S3 is just a little bit more responsive. It's faster with its quad core, but of course that's what you're going to get. As far as how they feel in the hand, obviously the Galaxy S3 is a little bit more form-fitting, has a nice curvature, fits in the hand perfect. And then the LG Intuition is just a little bit more difficult to hold in your hand. You've actually got to use two hands, and it makes for not the best time using your phone. Now, anyways, the LG Intuition is rocking the Optimus skin, and of course the Galaxy S3 is rocking the TouchWiz skin over Android 4.0. We'll go ahead and go into our app tray on each. As you can see, both open. We have our apps and widgets pane, but LG has decided to add in downloads tab up there so we can check out the apps that we've actually downloaded. As you can see, as far as speed and scrolling, there is a little bit more fluid motion on the Galaxy S3. It just looks a little better, but they're both fairly nice. Now, we do have the capacitive buttons on each. As you can see, we've got the menu, the back, and the home. And on the LG, we do have the capacitive buttons with menu, back, home, and then our recents are an actual dedicated button, whereas our recents come up by holding the home button on the Galaxy S3. Anyways, we'll go into the settings. That's the actual settings for the app tray, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and pull down the top notification bars. You can see each of these rocking Android 4.0, but the notification bars are a little bit different. We do have our toggles up here, as well as on the LG, and we can edit our toggles and move them. And then we can also do the same on the Galaxy S3. Now, the LG Intuition has a dedicated Wi-Fi button right here, and it's not really a toggle up there, but nonetheless, both give you quick access to all your different settings, your brightness control. We do have a slider on the Galaxy S3 for brightness, whereas on the LG Intuition, we have just 3 different settings for brightness. Anyways, we'll go into the settings on each of these phones. As you can see, they are both skinned differently. There's a nice white theme going on in the LG Intuition. Then we've got the black theme of the Galaxy S3. Looking on the LG Intuition and the S3, we've got more options, as well as the data usage and our Bluetooth and Wi-Fi options. Of course, sound and display, all the native features of Android 4.0. We've got application managers, as well as power saving and battery saving features on each as well. Scroll all the way down to the About phone and the About device on the Galaxy S3. Android 4.0.4. We'll have to go into our software information on the Intuition. We'll have to see that we're running 4.0.4 as well. Go back on each device. We have some different menus because of the theme of the Optimus, but both have different wallpaper customizations. You can choose the theme and the font on each device, the font size as well, and then we can configure things about the lock screen. Now, as far as benchmarks go, the Galaxy S3 trumps the Intuition, whether or not you're rocking the quad-core or the dual-core. The dual-core S4 is the higher up processor than the S3 that's in the Intuition, whether you have the Verizon version or the international version. And then of course the Verizon version and the other carrier variants are rocking 2 gigabytes of RAM as opposed to 1 gigabyte in the Intuition. So as far as speeds go, it's hands down goes to the Galaxy S3. Intuition runs nicely. The S3 processor, the Snapdragon S3 in the Intuition, is quite responsive, works very nice, and it's still a joy to use. A lot of people don't like the Intuition just because of its strange aspect ratio, its large size, but I'm sort of growing accustomed to it. I do think that I will get the Galaxy S3 and I will return the Intuition in about a week, and that's my honest opinion, you guys. It's been a great phone, but it is a really funky size. We got 2 hands that we need to use when we're actually using the device, but it is still great. I might give it a try. Of course, we've got our Robertium pen that comes with the Intuition, which is not as intuitive as the S Pen that's going to be coming with the Galaxy Note 2, and that's already with the Galaxy Note 10.1 and the Galaxy Note. There's no dedicated slot for the pen, the Robertium pen, but I'm sure a lot of cases might give you the option to store the stylus, not to mention we're going to have a very large case. But it does work fine. We've got our intuitive applications such as the quick memo. We can simply tap the top button, take a screenshot of whatever screen we were using, and then we can edit this screenshot, save it, and share it. Now we can take a screenshot on the Galaxy S3 simply by moving our hand across the screen. It's got gesture support. We also have gesture support on the Intuition. Simply grab an icon and you can tilt your device left and right to move it across the screens. We can also change the icon style and the actual icon itself for a lot of the apps. But as you can see, LG kind of does have the same sort of color scheme going on that the Galaxy S3 does with its TouchWiz interface. Anyways, we'll get a side-by-side comparison, get the sizes there. As you can see, the Intuition is just a little bit taller. This is the back profile. Both phones rocking an 8 megapixel rear-facing camera. We've got a 1.9 megapixel front-facing on the Galaxy S3 and a 1.3 megapixel front-facing on the LG Intuition. Now, of course, we're going to have our full review of the LG Intuition, and we do have our full review of the Galaxy S3, so make sure to check out each of those. But anyways, we do have a lot of intuitive camera features on each, both capture in 1080p HD. The 8 megapixels is really great. Another cool thing about the Samsung Galaxy S3, of course, is its removable battery option. An option not found on the LG Intuition, which unfortunately, you can't get extended batteries and things of that sort, but there are cases that come with other batteries and stuff. So a lot of the complaints that the LG Intuition receives can be solved in the future with the addition of accessories. Like I said, you'll get cases that you can store your stylus in. Of course, you can get the extended battery cases that you plug the micro USB in from the case. Those are already out for like the HTC One S and stuff like that. But anyways, here's our SIM slot on the Intuition. As you can see, I pop that open and our SIM's in there. SIM goes in the rear of the Galaxy S3. This is our Clear Talk enabled Galaxy S3. Now, as far as the displays, of course, we have a much bigger, well, not much bigger, but we do have a bigger display on the LG Intuition, whereas we have really nice colors with the AMOLED type display on the Galaxy S3, and it's a lot more refined. Our pixels aren't spread out across this 5 inches. The 4.8 inches really lets you get the extra detail in these icons and videos and games and stuff like that. And then the processor to back in the Galaxy S3 really kind of hands down, in my opinion, beats the LG Intuition. Okay, anyways, guys, that was our head-to-head comparison between both of these badass phones available on Verizon's network. Go ahead and pick one out. They're both the same price, $199. You're going to drop $200 and get an awesome phone either way. So tell us which one you guys like. Anyways, this is Clayton with AndroidAuthority.com. Stay tuned with us because we got plenty more action where this came from.